The United States of North America was originally formed by a group of white men known as the Founding Fathers. They created a document that they called the Constitution of the United States, which would be known as the supreme law of the land. It was a document that was designed to limit the power of the United States government in its dealings with these former colonies, and especially with any of the individuals from each of these newly formed states. There is a theory extant that the 9 northern-based colonies tended to be quite Anglo-Saxon in their heritage, while the 4 massive southern-based colonies tended to be comprised of the Celtic people and country English. But indeed, if the 2 sides of that battle during that time period are not strictly genealogically based as Anglo-Saxon and Celtic in their divisions, that is most certainly the way it does tend to work out in practice. The Lincolns, for example, were actually from 7 generations of Massachusetts socialists, and Thomas Jefferson and his namesake Jefferson Davis were both exceedingly Welsh. This trend tends to follow the tone of the 2 sides politically of the white man's government in North America. An even better theory states that the fact that there is a majority of Anglo-Saxon and Germanic dominance at the North makes them more socialist, more totalitarian efficient, and more overweeningly ambitious in their beliefs and actions than those of the South, who are mostly of a Celtic and country English sort of laid-back quality over quantity leisure class indolence. The point that we make from this is simple. The 2 divisions of these North American white men are, and have always been, 2 separate races, and they have at times desired 2 separate countries, based exclusively upon these differences coming to the surface during their interactions with one another. So, how did we originally end up with 2 separate and distinct types of white racial ideologies in the North American continent? Classifying the origins of the white man and the white people as a race has proven to be quite impossible. Indeed, not all Caucasians, or those people originating in the Caucasus Mountains, were ever a completely white race, nor are they white to this day. And while it is true that the only places that we find white people indigenously are in the Caucasus Mountains, as well as in a number of continental European areas, there is no one place that they are known to have originated. And while we have no real direct link between the Celts and the white Caucasians of the Caucasus Mountains, just south of Russia, we do have some very interesting facts about those people who most certainly formed or helped to form the original North American Southern Confederate nation and the white Southern people of the United States today. In sum, there seem to be 3 sets of white people who are of historical interest to us in this study. The original Southern-based Caucasians, also known as Circassians, the continental and insular Celts of ancient Europe, and the white Southerners of the United States of North America. There are also 3 sets of northern-based other white people who were most instrumental in invading these three sets of southern-based white people, and not only does history seem to repeat itself every few centuries, but it also seems to set an indelible pattern as well. Consider the following. The Slavic white people of Eastern Europe, that great land mass known as Russia proper, came from the Eastern White Slavs, and would eventually invade the Adagi white people of Circassia, who were located in the south in the northern Caucasus Mountains. Circassia possessed 2 million people before the northern-based Russian massacre of the Circassians in a fight that went on during the Russian-Circassian Wars, which lasted from 1763 until 1864. To just about the end of the American Civil War. A year later, Karl Marx would write Abraham Lincoln a letter congratulating him on bringing socialism, that first step towards communism, to the United States of North America by defeating the Confederate South. During World War I, Lenin's Red Army would force all of the southern people in the Caucasus to join the newly formed communist USSR. Vladimir Lenin was a disciple of Karl Marx, the father of communism, and Marx was, of course, the pen-pal fan of Abraham Lincoln. The Anglo-Saxons became the English, and then became the ruling class of the area, which had always been Britain, back to the time of the Romans in 450 AD. Today the Welsh, the Irish, and the Scots still exist, but as permanent attachments of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. They are 4 countries, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. But they are permanently welded together, it would seem. For example, the Prince of Wales can also be the King of England at the same time. It was from this group of dominating, totalitarian, Anglo-Saxon/English, and subjugated Celtic people that the United States was originally populated. The only thing that Lincoln could have done there, in any wise peacefully, was to have set up shop to begin extracting tribute from trading vessels in order to keep the United States tariffs up to their new mark of 47% on the dollar. Exacting tribute from trading vessels in a foreign country is, of course, piracy. But had the Southern Confederacy caved in to this demand and allowed the North to take what they wanted in trade, Lincoln's implication is that the South would have been allowed to exist peaceably as a separate nation that happened to pay tribute to America's Caesar, Abraham Lincoln. And that, of course, the South really could not let happen economically, whether peacefully or by force. Watch What Really Happened at Fort Sumter, available from Amazon.com, for the full word-for-word account told in their own dispatches.